What's going on, guys and gals? Welcome to Good Will Hunting. And what is going on? We're not live today. We're doing a pre-recorded video. It's crazy. It's been several months, but we're back and we're better than ever. And we've been talking about it. And today we're going to be giving you guys our top 5 horror movies from 2010. It's a new series we're starting off right now. We're going to hit each year of the 2010s with our top 5 favorite horror movies. And if you're on our Patreon, you're going to see an additional top 5 non-horror movies from each year. So that's going to be a lot of fun. A lot of videos we're going to be cranking out. And I'm excited about the project because this is when things really started amping up as far as production of good-ass horror movies, Birdie.
You're damn right, and you're going to see kind of like a freaking journey when we go for each year of the 2010s. You'll notice early on, not as strong of movies, and then once we go within each year, it gets better and better and better. So we're looking forward to all that. And before we even begin to do such a crazy task, we want to ask you guys, what do you all think about the 2010? The first year we're going to tackle, what is your top 5? And some honorable mentions, because we'll have honorable mentions as well. Let us know in the comment section down below. So without further ado, Bradley, my boy, do you have some honorable mentions?
Yeah, let's do. I got one brief. It's Frozen. The one where they ride the ski lift up and they get stuck and they have to fucking find a way to get off of it, and the dude jumps down, snaps his legs, and there's wolves and this. It's a crazy movie. But yeah, I just remember watching it on Netflix one day. I was in college at the time, and just it kind of stuck with me. It was solid. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it, man. These first couple of years, it was honestly kind of hard to make the list, but I remember that was one of the good ones.
Dude, it really was, man. And one of my honorable mentions is Frozen, like you said. A quick question: if a Arctic wolf bites you, would it be considered frostbite?
Oh, dude, that's crazy.
No, dude, I'm just messing up. But Frozen, Adam Green, it's just a very good movie. Has definitely anticipation. It's just like a cold atmosphere. Like, obviously they're in the cold, but it just really brings you a cold atmosphere. Wondering if our characters are going to survive. That's my first honorable. Oh yeah, and that's my first honorable mention. My second one, Brad, I kind of believe you're kind of crazy unless if this is in your top 5. But my next honorable mention is the remake of The Crazies. Timothy Olyphant freaking tackling people with anger issues. No, it's not really anger issues. It's like kind of like a mix between zombie and infected. But it's a very effective remake. I prefer this remake way more than the original. It's such a bloody good time. So I gotta mention it. Plus, Timothy Olyphant is our fucking boy. So my second honorable mention is The Crazies.
I like it, dude. That's a good one. I'll go ahead and get us cranked up with number 5 here. That's going to be Devil. And again, I haven't seen this movie in quite amount of time. Many good years. Many good years I have not seen this movie. It's been a while since I've seen it. That's the point I'm trying to make. Many years. But I remember it being scary. I remember it freaking me out. It's like people get stuck on this elevator, the lights go off, people are dying. Like, it's crazy. Like, it gets cranked up a few times. I just remember watching this again in college and just kind of being freaked out by it. And because it had that kind of impact, I thought I should include it in this list. And it's really one that I actually have been kind of wanting to watch again in the last year or two. I just haven't made the decision to do it yet. But check it out if you haven't. I remember it being pretty freaky.
Nice. And does it have an elevator button, or does it have the tagline, going down to hell? Nah, I'm just messing. But I've always kind of curious about that movie, so I'll add it to my watch list at least. So good call there, Brad. My number 5 is The Reef. And I like a good shark horror movie too, and The Reef provides that good time. I'm not sure if the characters had a good time, but I had a good time to see those characters getting themselves out of a very unique and different situation. And plus, I also like this movie showing some scenes within the movie of using real sharks and real movements and all that. I thought that was kind of interesting for a shark movie. So I want to give a nod to that. So my number 5 is The Reef.
Better than CGI, am I right? Number 4 for me is Tucker and Dale versus Evil. This is one of the better horror comedies. It's a great flick, man. It's funny. I'll make you laugh a few times. Again, I'm not too crazy about super comedic horror movies. They're funny enough, but But I still really enjoyed this one, and I like the characters they threw at us, and just how ridiculous it gets with all the stuff that these people do to themselves. There's some really memorable moments in there. One with the wood chipper and stuff, and Tucker and Dale became icons. Man, it's crazy they didn't do another one after, but yeah, it's really enjoyable, and it's one that I come back to every so often.
Dude, that is a excellent pick, and I'm kind of surprised you actually picked that one. So that kind of makes my heart happy that you have some appreciation for our boys Tucker and Dale. So my number 4 is going to be another remake here. That's going to be the Mother's Day remake, directed by Darren Lynn Bousman. And this is such a good time too. Just again, we got like a bunch of people over, and it's just this random ass, like these two brothers and the very evil mother just come to this house and cause all kinds of chaos. I like the blood effects, like the gore in this movie. It's really solid. And then of course we got some good characters in this movie as well. So I just really find it a really good time, and definitely a movie that should be watched on Mother's Day. So my number 4 is the Mother's Day remake, and also I prefer this remake over the original as well.
Nice selection, Birdie. Number 3 for me is going to be The Last Exorcism. This is one of the better found footage movies for me. It's about this preacher who goes out to do an exorcist, but he's documented it all with his VHS camera. I don't know if maybe he had a DV dizzle in there. I don't know, but either way, he's trying to fake out the family. He's trying to make him, he's basically conning them. He's like, okay, I'm going to come do this exorcist. We're going to record it. And he's making all this shit happen and stuff on film. But then it turns out the girl's actually possessed, and it gets pretty crazy. And it's got a lot of creepy scenes, some stuff out in the barn. The girl the main girl that is the possessed one, she does a great job in the movie. They did a sequel which sucked ass, but this one was actually really effective and scary, and one of the better found footage movies out there. So I'm going to give it to it.
Man, I wanted to watch that movie of yours, Brad, but it's just unfortunately it's not anywhere easily accessible streaming wise, so I didn't get a chance to watch it. But I hear nothing but excellent things about that movie, so hopefully I'll get to watch it for the future. So my number 3 is going to be Piranha 3D. Look at me just throwing these remakes out here, man. Another strong remake of Piranha 3D. Again, we get a solid cast in this movie. Our boy, Great Scott! Our fucking boy Christopher, man. And of course we also get Danielson's girl from the Karate Kid. She is the main actress in that movie, and plus you don't really care about all that. You just care about the piranhas just freaking killing their victims, man, being ferocious little bastards. And man, they really go for it in this movie. They don't really treat themselves that seriously. It's just grab yourself some popcorn and enjoy the gore fest. So my number 3 is Piranha 3D, the remake.
I like it, dude. Number 2 for me is going to be The Crazies. You mentioned it earlier. You said all the good reasons. It's actually a really underrated zombie / infection story. And I think it came out 2010, which was kind of right after Walking Dead started taking off. So maybe that's why it kind of went under the radar. But it was it was really effective. Timothy Olyphant was great in the movie. So yeah, that was really cool. But it had some good heart-wrenching moments in it. It had some intense moments. It had some suspenseful moments. It was overall is really solid. So I think it's good. One of the better remakes in that genre for sure. It's a great flick, man. I'm gonna guess based on the remake train, you got Spit on Your Grave coming up, maybe for number. No, I'm just kidding.
Actually, I was going to say that that kind of particular franchise, I have been holding off because I don't think I have the strength to watch it.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I left it off too because it's not something I go back to. But it was badass when she's kicking ass at the end.
Oh, dude, I have no doubts about that. So hopefully in the future I get to watch that. And I figure because you are such a fan of Justify and Timothy Olyphant, that I kind of figure that The Crazies would that be that high up on your list. But you kind of went advantage over me, though, because you mentioned Tucker and Dale versus Evil earlier, because that's my number 2 is Tucker and Dale versus Evil. I've heard all the good comedy stuff they do in this movie. I just thought oh, this is just going to be dumb comedy. When I watched it, dude, this is very smart comedy. Like they're very like timed and knowledgeable with their jokes that really make poke fun of the horror genre. So if you're like a big time fan of the horror genre and you like to have a good laugh and then pointing out some things, you're like, you know what? That's actually a really good point. This movie covers that for you. Of course, you're gonna love the characters of Tucker and Dale. They're terrific. So I won't go any further than that. So my number 2 is Tucker and Dale versus Evil.
I like it, dude. Number one for me, the big one here, man. In titty ass, man. In other words, we're going tiptoeing.
Brad, we don't do the porn version.
We're going Insidious, man. James Wan's flick. This one, obviously created a franchise. To me, it's one of the scarier movies out there. It's the one that scared me the most, probably, like in the modern era, like since I became an adult. Like this is the one that just has some of the best use of jump scares you'll see, and it's got some good characters and stuff too. Rose Byrne, Patrick Wilson, those guys are great. And, they create a nice little family there. But dude, it's just scary as fuck. Some of the best jump scares this ever are in this movie. A couple of them are anyway. So yeah, it's solid. And it's one that I continue. This is one I watch a lot, and it doesn't matter how many times you watch it, it still has the same, maybe not the same impact, but it still impacts you pretty good. So it's very solid.
Yeah, it kind of like just brings you, like, just makes you remember what you experienced the first time around. Because I agree with you, because that's easily my number 1 is Insidious. It's not even close. I would say it's the easiest number 1 out of all the like years that we're going to cover in this series. The Insidious is definitely the easiest one to be placed at number 1 for me personally. Like a lot that you said, James Wan, he just knows how to use the camera. He just knows how to just get you into that world building, just to set you in the world and just like feel like you're really a part of it, like you're suffering, like this family is suffering too. And of course, it has our the lovely Lynn Shay. No, I'm just kidding. Every time I mention her, I gotta do that for some reason. So thank you so much, Brad, for showing me Kingpin. Lynch Shay is excellent. Of course, her 2 little lackeys kind of like release like the comedy in this, so it just kind of relaxes or eases the tension. But man, as Barney Stinson say, we're all the way up, my friend. And this movie definitely brings all the upness, and when it comes to the terms of scare and mood and atmosphere, absolutely loved it. I'll always get scared by Darth Maul's crack-headed brother. That little asshole gives me nightmares. So easily number 1 for 2010 is Insidious.
Yeah, I got, like what you would call like a relaxed brain, but I ain't punchy. No, it's a good movie, man. I can't disagree. That's the list. That's all 5 of them, man. And like I said earlier, man, if you want to see our non-horror top 5 from not to 2010, check out our Patreon/YouTube membership as well. It's going to be available to both, at least tiers 2 and up on the YouTube, and then all the tiers of Patreon. So check that out. It'll be there, and you'll be able to see that extra content as we get through this series.
Dude, absolutely. And also, of course, before we really close out here, what did you think about our 2010 horror movies list from the year 2010? Do you agree with some of our picks, or are there some picks that we easily forgotten to mention? Nightmare on Elm Street remake? Let us know in the comments section down below so we can always get that discussion rolling.
Hell yeah, dude. If you want to help us find the good reels, you can do so by finding us on Facebook, Instagram, all those fun places. Those socials are going to be down below, as well as the Patreon stuff as well. It's going to be down there for you to check it out. So check it out. Help us find those good reels.
Absolutely. It is great to be back, pre-recorded content. It only took us 35 tries. Now, I'm just kidding. To our surprise, man, it only took one real try, that is. So we're going to continue on with this series. So we will see you all for the next one of 2011.
Yes.